project, it's called We Are New York, is the name of the TV series. And it is a joint production of the City University of New York and the Mayor's Office for Adult Education. And I got involved because someone from the City University part of the project, I had worked with her on other projects in the past, and she called me one day with this idea of developing dramas to teach immigrants English as a second language by engaging them in really entertaining and interesting dramas, not the usual educational types of video.
You're going to wear that on your first date? No way, man. Here, wear my jacket. This will really impress her.
Do I need to impress her? I just want to get to know her.
There's time for that later.
We were really aiming to make this a not typical ESL type of project. And we came to a couple of key decisions. One of them was that each episode is a standalone episode, so that if a viewer didn't get to see the first episode, the first program, it wouldn't matter. They could still see the second episode and the third. So each one is a standalone. Each one has a separate story. Each one has a different cast. Each one was shot in a different part of New York. So each one carries its own message. The messages that were selected were really selected by the mayor's office, and there were certain issues that they wanted us to address. Health issues, and so there's a program on asthma, there's one on diabetes, there's one on quitting smoking. Another topic that they wanted us to talk about were educational issues. And so there's one episode that deals with becoming involved in the PTA if you have young children, and another episode deals with what to do if you have a teenager who wants to drop out of school. Other episodes had to do with social services and just becoming more acclimated to New York.
I'm afraid for you.
You don't understand. I can't go to the police. I don't have my papers. There's nothing I can do.
You can do something. Call 311. There are people that can help you. People you can talk to.
We did have access to experts, and once we would write a script on a particular subject, we would vet it against people in the field. For example, we did one on domestic violence, and that was a very challenging one to do because it's a very sensitive topic. And so once we worked on the initial script treatment, we had it looked over by people in the mayor's office who deal with domestic violence and were able to give us some guidelines. Don't show this, do show that. But in many cases, the writers simply brought our own knowledge and expertise to the project.
Renata, what is wrong?
Everyone told me to mind my own business.
What are you talking about?
They said I should not talk about this, that it would bring shame to my family. But this is happening to my sister. My own sister is suffering because her boyfriend is... Her boyfriend.
We expect the program to have a significant impact, not only from its broadcast distribution. And there's quite a lot of publicity. In fact, today coming over here on the subway, I saw a promo piece for it on the subway. I was very excited. But in addition, the DVDs are being distributed to ESL classes all over the city of New York and to many other organizations who deal with immigrants to help teach them English.
So, the manager said the dinner is free. I don't have to pay tonight, right?
Yeah, don't worry. He told me it's free. Just sign the check. It will look like you are paying.
think one of the things that made the project very challenging was that the actors and actresses who were doing the parts had to look very realistic and had to act as though this was a realistic drama. But they had to speak slower than people would normally speak so that English as a second language learners could follow. They had to do a lot of repeating without the script seeming awkward, because when you're learning a second language, it's important to have the words repeated to you several times.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Good choice.
So, Jorge, how long have you lived in New York City?
Me? Oh, about 2 years.
Only 2 years? Well, you are so successful. It didn't take you long.
Yes, well, I know how to take care of my money.
In some cases, we had to find ways that one of the characters would write things down so that the viewer could both hear what was being said and see it written down. So that was another thing. And to also build in messages from the city of New York, such as it was important to let parents know that it doesn't matter whether you're legal in this country or if you have papers, you don't, your child is entitled to go to school. And your child is entitled to all the services that every other child is entitled to. In the domestic violence episode, it was important for people who were watching that to know that nobody is going to ask you for your papers if you go to a police station to report a domestic violence situation. So there were a lot of messages calling 311, how to get city services, that also had to be worked into these stories, but still make them engaging for people so that they would want to watch them and that they would like the characters and become engaged in the stories and want to tune into the
Giving me
next
the
episodes.
service I want. I'm sure you have a very good bank. Which bank do you use?
I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Abdul, you've got to help me. She just asked me about my bank.
Your bank?
What do I do? What do I tell her? She thinks I'm rich.
Don't worry. Tell her you have an account. A checking account.
Tell her you have 2 accounts, a checking account and a savings account.
Oh, Jorge, change the subject. Tell her you don't like talking about business at the dinner table.
Yes, but tell her you'll talk about it another time.
Another challenge was to put the spotlight on immigrants, not to put them in the background, but to put them front and center, and to show how immigrants contribute to the quality of life in New York and to what makes New York special. And one episode is called The Wedding. And all of the people behind the scenes who make this wedding possible are all immigrants. And they're all running against a terrible deadline to try to get to the wedding site on time. And they get lost on the subway and one thing and another. It's really very cute. But everyone who makes this wedding happen are all immigrants contributing to what goes on in New York and the quality of life in our city. And that was an important message from the mayor's office.